are you? What are you doing here? Why are you here? Why were you created? These are really big questions. A lot of people have tried to answer them, and all of them are greater than I am. But my answer might surprise you. So let's discuss that on our journey home. One type of answer is, I am no one. I'm doing things for others. I am here to serve others. I exist for others. Another type of answer is, I am all you need. I do all things. I am here for me. I created everything. Quite a spectrum, right? I spoke in season 1 about identity. So I will ask the question again, who are you? Why are you here? And why were you created? I think that how we respond to these questions says a lot about where we lie on the spectrum of selfish existence versus selfless existence. Between prideful living and humble living. I'm working in my life to live from a sweet spot of middle with all of these, as I'm coming to understand how I answer these questions for myself, especially as they pertain to my faith in Jesus Christ and my relationship with Him. So, are we a narcissist or an altruist? A narcissistic lens is selfishness at the most extreme level, self-centered, acting as though the world revolves around us. Very difficult to deal with kind of person. Everything is about us. We're self-obsessed, bragging every chance that we get, truly thinking we are superior to others. When things don't go our way or we don't get the recognition we deserve, we get angry. We believe people are against us and misunderstanding us also. We tend to exaggerate our talents too, and our achievements. It kind of gives me an icky feeling in myself, even talking about this kind of heart space, this kind of space that we live in, just emotionally, whether we're a narcissist or not. Because frankly, I hope and pray it's not how I'm designed. The altruist lens is selfless. We put other people first without thinking twice about it. Not thinking lowly of ourselves, but because we innately are thoughtful by nature. We're even experts at considering and understanding others, possessing empathy. We think about the driving behavior and strive to help others become better than they are. We are inspired and enlightened by helping others. We get our energy from it. Selfless is the kind of definition you would describe as an altruist. They're giving individuals. Many may assume that an altruist can be walked over, but this isn't really the case. More often than not, altruists are very confident in their morals and rarely doubt themselves. They tend to treat others the way that they want to be treated. The golden rule is their sole focus and intent behind everything that they do. And they enforce this rule in their life. It means that they're constantly putting others in someone else's shoes and thinking about how they'd want to be treated and how they'd want to be received by other people. That is what an altruist is. So the next question is, what is the middle? I'm coming to find that the middle is taking pride in what I do, as opposed to I am proud of what I have done and proud of who I am in light of what I've done. I've also learned that helping others and finding life from helping others doesn't mean that it has to be at a detriment to my own well-being. It also means knowing that there will always be an unhealthy place to be with the good that we are doing, whether for selfish reasons or for selfless reasons. Selfishness can turn towards abusiveness and neglect in habits, in relationships, in lack of empathy for others, and causing hurt both in working environments, in marriages, in friendships, in mother, daughter, father, son type relationships, you name it. Selfishness can lead to all of these things in those relationships. While selflessness can also turn towards codependency and a lack of shifting and having a shifting center of morals for oneself can cause our own morals and opinions to be usurped by somebody else in our life. And we can choose to do what somebody else wants all the time and lose ourself in the process, lose our morals, lose our center and who our identity is or what our identity is to that of another person, which is what codependency is. And so you might be asking yourselves, well, Andrew, where does Jesus and your relationship fit into this identity thing for yourself? The truth is, by its very nature, to be in a relationship with Jesus is to take on his sacrifice for our lives and set aside ourselves, our wants, desires, and passions, i.e., humility. It is obedience even when we want to do the opposite. It's speaking truth even when people don't want to hear it, but also speaking it in love. It is sharing truth at the expense of our own well-being in some cases. Jesus was always in this space of moving to the next thing as he shared the truth, even when he was headed to the cross. All of it was exposing the truth at the expense of his dignity and well-being for the sake of the truth that he was indeed the Son of God. And the same can be said for us. Telling the truth and sharing the truth with those who need to hear it or holding them accountable is not us being selfish, or even selfless. It is towing a middle and calling what we see, and allowing the relationship that we have between whatever the person or whoever the person might be, or whatever the situation might be relationship wise, to sort itself out, to work itself out. And hopefully, the relationship that we're in is, in fact, that. We are in the kind of relationship where we can actually share what we believe we're holding each other accountable for, as well as understanding that the relationship then has to move forward. And we have to work on that relationship together. And it's the same thing with Jesus. Jesus stepped into my life and he revealed the weaknesses in me. He revealed to me the things that I was struggling with. He revealed to me the things that I needed to excise from my life. And in light of that accountability, I had to embrace the truth and I had to change my life. I had to give up those things, those wants, those desires in my life so that I would hopefully experience a new and profound, deeper relationship with Jesus that is completely selfless, completely devoid of myself, completely devoid of what I want, completely devoid of what even others want of me, but only focused on what he wants. And the reality is that my identity is in Christ and his sacrifice. All that I am, I have to filter through Jesus and how he obeyed God. And I have to make every effort then going forward of how am I going to obey God in light of this revelation that I have? How am I going to be like Christ in light of this revelation that I have? So I want you to do something for me this week. I want you to take a week and figure out where you land on the spectrum of selfishness and selflessness, humble and prideful. Where are you? Oftentimes, we can't possibly know the answers to these deep identity questions until we know who we are and how we function. And if we can't identify whether or not we are more selfish than we are selfless, or more humble than we are prideful, or vice versa, if we don't know what those are, we can oftentimes struggle to understand those questions or even answer those questions for ourselves. And I'm speaking as someone who has indeed, in fact, struggled with those questions, especially as it pertains to my faith and as I've wrestled with and sought out and made this faith my own. So I want you to take a week to observe yourself in circumstances, observe yourself in relationships, observe yourself in your work environment, observe yourself and who you are, and see where your identity lands on that spectrum of everything you do, whether it's online or outside the internet or at home or at your church, whatever the circumstances, observe yourself. Make note of the things that you're doing. If you don't have a journal, write that stuff down in that journal and identify what those things are so that you can hopefully find yourself in a great position to understand who you are and then find ways to improve that. Today's outfit is again brought to you by Art of Homage. I've got the South Beach worship hat, as well as Jesus is Bigger Than Sunday shirt. You can find their product on artofhomage.com. I want to encourage you to check them out. Great, simple designs that honor God and provoke conversation with people who might be interested in finding out more about Jesus Christ and what he did for them on the cross. Thanks for listening or watching today's episode of Anything Goes, A Journey Home. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. And don't forget to click that bell if you're following on YouTube so you can stay on the journey with me anytime I take a trip home. Now let's be encouraging, share love, faith, hope with someone who needs it, and I will see you all on the next journey home. God bless.